It's time for Side Scrollers with me, Stuttering Craig.
You decide when you lose, not other people.
And Blabs.
I like pickles.
And co-hosted by our friends from around the internet. If you like common sense, hit that thumbs up button and, of course, the subscribe button. And join us Monday through Friday live at 11 a.m. Central Time. And now, broadcasting from our homes, it's time for the #1 gaming and entertainment podcast on God's green earth. It's time for Side Scrollers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, welcome on out to Side Scrollers on YouTube.com and Rumble.com and Twitch.tv. What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday to you. Stuttering Craig. Welcome to Side Scrollers, the #1, soon to be, top video game podcast and entertainment on planet Earth. Hi, everybody. Man, I'm jazzed up. Hi, Blabs.
Hello. Are you jazzed? Jazz hands?
We're going crazy today, man. We got a lot to talk about. We have one of my look. I love Salty. This is bringing Salty. Hello, buddy. My bromance is real, straight up bromance. Like it's gonna be like one of those Amaranth AI bromances, except real. You know, I don't want to sex with you or anything, but it's let's not make it awkward. I'm leaving.
It sounds good. Sounds good to me.
I'm out. How's it going, buddy?
Things are going awesome. 2024 is already starting off to be a cup full of liberal tears, so that's fun.
Oh my gosh! I'll tell you what. The first 1, 2, 3, 4 days of this has been silly, man. It's been nuts for sure. But yeah, man. Glad you're here. Obviously, you've been on a couple times. We're gonna do a little video game today. We're gonna do a little video games, a lot of entertainment as always. But fill everybody in on those who don't know who you are, what you do, and why you're such a fun guy.
I'm just a lunatic rambling about this clown world. All I wanted to do was play video games, Craig. That's all I wanted to do. Old school side-scrolling video games. And then these evil people messed everything up, and now we gotta make fun of them and break this the stranglehold of stupidity that we're in.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. Speaking of old school video games, and I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
I sorry for your plight. I started a Donkey Kong Country marathon yesterday, which was really fun. So, if you ever want to come in and play some Donkey Kong Country, I know 2024 is going to be a busy year for you, but if you ever want to play a little DKC or a little Contra or something, hey, I'm your guy. Let's go.
You keep the 2 hardest. Throw Ninja Gaiden in there too. We'll do the 3 hardest games known to man.
Man, did you hear about the kid? We talked about this a couple days ago. Did you hear about the kid who kill screened Tetris? He beat Tetris?
No.
It's insane.
1989 Tetris?
Yes, from the NES. Yeah, he went in and apparently, okay, I don't know a lot. Like the thing when you see like these guys who get kill screens or break games is they go into the code and they find all these like little details that allow them to do these things. And from what I gather, they found some sort of little exploit that if you get a single line, like not a double, triple, or Tetris, but if you get a single line on a certain level, then it will cause the RAM to break or something, and then the game just shuts down. And that's what the kid was 13 years old who did it, which is insane. So we are now at a point to where Tetris can be beaten, which is crazy. So I don't know. What's your biggest, just out of curiosity before we get into things, what's your greatest video game accomplishment? Did I ask you that last time? Maybe I feel like I did.
I don't think so, because I don't know my biggest video game accomplishment. I remember, this sounds so stupid and lame, but boy, that countdown at the beginning of the show, I was bringing back some fierce Street Fighter 2 vibes, and beating Street Fighter 2 at the arcade. And I think ours was set at a higher difficulty because it was nobody beat that. And I remember, this is so stupid. You got me embarrassed over here. I remember breaking down and crying tears of joy beating Street Fighter 2 with Blanca, a character that I didn't even like playing. So,
oh, that's awesome. And you did it in the arcade?
Yeah. No, we did it in the 7-Eleven, but that's all. That's that was our arcade. We had a Neo Geo with Fatal Fury and some other games I can't remember, not good ones. They didn't have like Shock Troopers or anything, but there was a Neo Geo and a Street Fighter machine next to the Haagen-Dazs bin. And everybody from, well, all the nerds, at least from my middle school, were there every day.
Right.
School, after school.
People don't understand. Like, that was the place where you went. You went to the video store. You went to the 7-Eleven. You went to the arcade after school, and you spent, $1, $2, whatever it is in quarters to try to beat it. And beating those things was, it was like a badge of honor, which was really, really cool. So, God, that you're probably right. They actually may have made your machine more difficult because there is a difficulty setting on the dip switches on those things. And obviously the arcade was meant to take money from people. Yeah. So you're probably right. Maybe it was. That's great. I would ask Blabs her greatest video game accomplishment, but she probably doesn't have one. Do you, Blabs?
I thought you were witnessing it. Castlevania.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Beating. I forgot. Did you beat it?
What?
What?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Huh?
Yeah.
You were there. Like, you
glorious.
have early onset dementia? What is this?
It was glorious. Yeah.
Which Castlevania?
What?
Which Castlevania?
Oh, I don't know. What did I play?
One.
Fantastic.
Yeah, one. She played Castlevania 1, and it was horrendous.
GG's.
I think I'd like to get her playing Super Castlevania 4 maybe sometime, just because it's a spectacular game. The music's great, but and it's not that hard. But it's about 6 hours long, Blab. So it would take you about 3.5 months. So.
Listen, he kept saying that it took me 2 months to beat a game when I was only playing it once a week for 2 hours.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
And that is hard to do. Yeah, during a specific time
window.
window.
Don't be like, 3 months. It was really a week if you think about it. A week, Craig.
You're horrible. I will not think about it. That's okay. I would like to remind everybody, we are live over on Rumble in addition to YouTube. You can find us over at rumble.com/sidescrollers. Hit the follow button over there as we're closing in on 5,000 followers over there. Not like Salty. Salty's, that's like your home base is Rumble now, huh?
Yeah. The YouTube overlords were I'm actually still surprised that we're still on that platform, but we a couple of years ago started we claim staked a nice portion of Rumble, and we've been promoting that one as kind of the home base.
It's great, man. Do you have a locals or anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
Good,
yeah.
Good. That's great. We also have an X account. You can find us over at Side Scroller Pod if you want to get clips or updates on guests and stuff. We also have an Instagram, don't we, Blabs?
We do, and we hit 1,050 yesterday, so we're onwards and upwards.
Cool.
So follow us, or else I don't like you.
Yeah, I found a way to sync up. We're using Opus Clips now. Have you heard of that before, Salty? Opus Clips, this AI that takes your clips and it adds all the text and everything to it. It's really nice. Anyways, we're using that. I found a way to sync up those clips to our Instagram account so I can just instantly post them there, which is great. So that's nice. We also have a Kick, which is great. So head on over to kick.com/sidescrollers. Follow us over there if that's your type of thing. And please do it if you're watching us over on Twitch, because we will not be on Twitch starting February 1st. We are leaving Twitch after all their nonstop stupidity over there. I can't get behind that platform. I can't stream on that platform. So with that said, if you'd like to use your free Amazon Prime Bezos bucks, you can do that right now. You can subscribe to us over at twitch.tv/Thunder and Craig. We'd really appreciate that. It's free. It costs you nothing, and it gives us money. So that's a great thing as well. So cool. Do us a favor, hit the subscribe button over here on YouTube if you're watching us there, and join the nearly 62,000 common sense free thinking sons of bitches in the video game and entertainment space who say, we've had enough. That's great. Also hit the thumbs up button as our goal is 500 every single stream and 20 memberships. We're going to do it. We're going to do it today. All right. And one more thing. Tomorrow, Melanie Mack joins the show with Yellow Flash. Do you know Yellow Flash, Salty? I think I asked you if you knew Yellow Flash.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Yellow Flash.
Yeah, good dude. Cool. So there you go. With all that said, I don't know. I feel like there's something. Is there anything we need to talk about, Blaz, before we get into all the news and stuff today?
No.
Okay, cool. I just feel like there's something else out there that I'm not quite sure what it is. Okay, well, let's get into it then. It's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone in the world's favorite segment. It's time for hard news. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Yumi in the Movies, for that wonderful intro right there. We're going to start off talking about the Switch today. And guys, I see your super chats. We'll get to those in just a little bit. Thank you very much for your support. But Salty, you have your head down in the sand in the world of politics and just clown world. So you don't get to see the fun news about potential video game consoles and stuff, do you?
No, not too much. Not anymore.
Cool. Well, do you play a whole lot of Switch or Nintendo or anything like that? Or are you keeping it old school? Like, since you started old school, you love yourself to Nintendo and you stay faithful? Or are you like a PlayStation 5 dude? Or do you play games at all?
I'm playing old games. And so I have a Nintendo Switch, but it's got all like old stuff. It's got like Super Mario World and stuff on it. But yeah, no, I didn't know that I knew that they would make another one. That thing was very successful.
Yeah, killed it. Well, they're approaching 140 million units sold on the Switch, which is just stupid. But an analyst recently came out yesterday, right at the tail end of the show, and mentioned that they're predicting the Switch 2 to be released this year in 2024 with a $400 price tag, which is I think it's pretty reasonable in 2024, where the dollar isn't worth what it was last year or 2 years ago. But it's not meant to be like a revolution. It's just meant to be like an adaptation of the Switch. They feel like they have a good thing going for it with them right now with the Switch, and it's more just going to be like more of the same, just better. And the games are meant to be around $70, whereas currently most games are $60. But that seems to be like kind of the running point of where prices of games are going to be going. So yeah, it's, the idea of like a Switch Pro, and that was released. That was the OLED model and all that. Talking about it coming out. So 2024, we're not that far out. So yeah, I don't know. Just general thoughts on the Switch 2.
What's a PlayStation 5 cost?
Great question, Blabs. I would, if I was to guess, I'd probably say 500 right off the bat. 500. But,
Yep, about $500.
yeah, but
USD.
I think that, we've talked about this many times before. I think the Switch and Nintendo as a whole, like, they're not playing the PlayStation game. They're not playing the Xbox game or the PC game. They're playing the Nintendo game. And that's the one thing that Nintendo has done exceptionally well. And that's the one thing that Nintendo has compared to PlayStation and Xbox is they have a lot of people's childhood. They have these IPs that people grew up with. And like, you go, well, who's the mascot of Nintendo, right? And Salty, who's the mascot of Nintendo?
Well, I think most people would say Mario, but I mean, you got Link right up there. You got Samus. There's just so many characters that they've created that they really do a good job. Listen, Nintendo does a fantastic job building incredible games that last I mean, the longevity of that brand and those characters is something that is far exceeding what anybody else can do.
Right. And then you ask the same question of, you go, who is the mascot of PlayStation? I don't know.
When I was a kid, it was Crash Bandicoot.
Right. It was, but now he's on Switch too. And and then you say, well, the same question. Who's the mascot, or what is the mascot of Xbox? Used to be Halo.
Yeah.
Right. But Halo's kind of fallen off. Halo's not what it was 15 years ago. And that's the thing that Nintendo has going for it. So the idea that they have to keep up with the Joneses with PlayStation 5 and offer like this super high def mega console, when you look at Nintendo's top, we've looked at the top games sold on the Switch, and like 29 out of the top 30 games are Nintendo games. They're not Call of Duty. They're not, anything else. They're not, I think Minecraft is the only game that is on that top 30 list that's not a Nintendo game. And that's crazy to think about. But one of the things that in the article is that it's rumored to launch with 3 games. And we talked about this a little bit. It just the idea of launching with only 3 games. What type of games would you like to see? What do you think would be smart to launch with a Switch 2, Salty?
Wow. If there's only going to be 3 games available for that thing
at the start, and I think that's really low and stupid, by the way.
It's got How did the that second Zelda game end up doing on that first on the original Switch? Was it like, I'm sure it sold well, but I mean, did it play well? Was it showing the age of the Switch? Because the
No,
first one was that game was nuts.
yeah.
But I was a little bit curious if they're going to do a second one on there.
So they did Tears of the Kingdom, and Tears of the Kingdom sold gangbusters, and it worked exceptionally well. It was like the epitome of what the Switch could do. You know, over the course of like a console, you have games at the beginning of a console. That same game would look totally different and better at the end of the console because people understand how to develop for it better, right? And that was kind of the case with Tears of the Kingdom. But I think that's kind of the thing that they could do with the Switch 2. If it's going to be more powerful, is they release a Tears of the Kingdom or Zelda 2.
Remastered.
Either a remastered or an upscaled version that shows you the difference between the two. It's like going back to the difference between Super Mario Brothers or Mario 3 and Super Mario World on the two different consoles. You know, I think that's your big selling point for sure.
Yeah, they would. If you're only going to do 3 games, and it'd be nice if they were new games that showcase the hardware of the thing. But I imagine they're going to have to be first party games. But they just released a Mario game, didn't they? Like
Mario Wonder, man, it's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Have you not played that yet?
No.
Dude.
I got a very backlog of video games I'm going to have to play when I'm in a gulag.
Listen, I'm telling you this right now. Mario Wonder, it's so much fucking fun. It's so much fun. And if you like, it's okay. I think Super Mario World is like the best Mario game ever. But Mario Wonder may be right there. It's so good and it's so fun. And there are things about it that aren't good, right? Just like there's things that are not good about Mario World. But we look over it because we're having so much fun while playing it. And that's the case with Mario Wonder. It's so fucking good. And it's like charming. And the entire time I played, I was like, I'm having so much fun. I feel like I'm 12 years old. And it was great, man. It was ridiculous. So I fully like, that's a game that you should play on a stream. If you want to play a game and like, oh, you would love it. Love that shit for sure. So, wow. So yeah, so the Switch 2 coming this year, $400, which once again, I don't feel like that's that bad, you know, especially if it's like portable, like it will be. I'm sure it's going to be more of the same. So yeah, it's kind of where we're at. Blabs, you got anything on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big Switch person, so for me, $400, that's pretty steep, especially when PlayStation 5 is only $100 more.
How much do you pay for your iPhone?
I don't have an iPhone. I've never bought one.
I was gonna say $1,000, right?
No, I've never paid for Apple in my life. I don't like Apple.
That's good. Well, good for you. Way to stand up to the man, Blabs. I love it.
I pay for the sweatshops for Samsung instead.
I was gonna say, do you have a flip phone? Because
but yeah, I only got a smartphone when I was like 20. So,
golly, that's good for you. Good for you. Golly, that's one of the things that I've been talking about for a long time. So my kids are at a point to where they're asking for phones, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like it's not even a conversation in my house. And they're all like, my friends are getting phones, and I'm like, and the crazy thing about it is my daughter. Total side note. She has friends who are getting phones. She sees the effect of them on their phone constantly all the time, looking down, like totally spaced out from Earth. And she sees it. She doesn't like it at all, but she still wants a phone so she can interact with her friends. And I'm like, nah, I'm not letting you into that world yet. We're not there yet because I'm not dealing with all that nonsense.
Yeah. So. Everyone was getting the iPhone when it first came out, and I was around in 8th grade, and everyone's like, ooh, look at this, or ooh, look at my BlackBerry, and I'm like, my little Nokia flip phone that was Barbie colored, it was pink, it was great, yeah. I was like, I can do this.
Poll in the chat, does anybody, actually, yeah, just a simple question for the chat. Does anybody own a flip phone still? I'm curious, because I would love the idea of a dumb phone that just, I think they offer those now.
You can't even destroy those. I had to take a sledgehammer to break a Nokia flip phone because I was afraid there was still data on it, right? And I couldn't turn it on or anything. So if you just toss it, someone who has the equipment to turn it back on, get into it, would get your information. So I took a sledgehammer and wham it. A couple years ago.
All right. Take out that rage, Blabs. Take it out. All right. Let's move on real quick to our next story. We have a new mini-series coming out. We've talked about Disney a lot on the channel. I think it's impossible not to talk about Disney and all the insanity that's going on with that. But they have a new mini-series coming out. Have you heard of Echo, Salty? Have you heard of this mini-series?
Yeah, I saw that. I heard about the Echo teaser trailer where they were talking about it, and then they showed this fight scene, and it was hilarious because, boy, that fight scene looks atrocious, but they are all convinced that it is great. I'm sitting there going, have you not seen like old school movies these days, Craig? But fight scenes from 300, I think, are probably, and that was done almost 15 years. That was so long ago. And I'm sitting there going, it looks like they're dancing in this, and maybe that was the effect, but there's no kinetic impact with anything that's going on with it. It looks like it looks like play fighting almost. And I was sitting there going, this is supposed to be a serious fight, because it looks like it's supposed to be like a dark series.
Right.
And I'm like, this is atrocious. But all of these people who've lined up behind Disney are absolutely convinced that it looks great. And this is just that low watermark of mediocrity.
Right. Well, they have, so that was definitely being passed around social media the last couple of days, just the fight scene as a whole. And we can get into that for sure. But for those who don't know, this is from Wikipedia. Echo is an upcoming American miniseries going to be on Disney Plus, and it's going to be based off of a Marvel Comics character named Echo, which I'm not familiar. Have you ever heard of Echo before? The character?
Yeah.
You have, Labs?
She was in what show was she recently in? Wasn't she in Hawkeye's show?
Once again, I didn't watch that either. But
yeah, she was in Hawkeye. That's why. But like the character existed obviously in the comics, from what I understand.
All right, so here's the premise. Obviously, following the events of Hawkeye in New York City, Maya Lopez is being pursued by Wilson Fisk's organization, leading her to return to her hometown of Oklahoma, where she must come to the terms with her past, reconnect with her Native American roots, and embrace her family and community. Okay, so here we go. We got our story here. Now, our friend Disparu over on Twitter has taken some stuff from the Screen Rant press junket that they went to, and this was amazing. As you would expect, this is Disney in 2023, 2024. I wanted to share this with you because this was awesome. Here's what they said at the press junket about Echo, and I'm guessing this is the lead actor here or actress.
I think so many people feel like this project might be checking boxes in some way, but it's a great story first and foremost that happens to center around an Indigenous Choctaw community and around a deaf Indigenous protagonist.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. God, sorry, that hack just drives. Absolutely. So I would just like to point out the number of ists. Like she literally starts saying, hey, a lot of people think this may check the boxes, but she goes on to say this:
Choctaw community and around a deaf Indigenous protagonist.
A deaf Indigenous protagonist, and we've done it. We've done it, Salty. We solved it.
What's her sexual orientation too? I need to know that.
Good point. Blabs, can you please find the sexual orientation of the character? Because I may or may not watch the show based solely on that. Just so you know. So
yeah, it's like they've got a. It was funny because that's kind of, a meme. That's an attack. There's a checklist, and now we force them to acknowledge there's a checklist, and they're doing it in press junk. It's like, okay, well, you might think there's a checklist, but hey, take a look at all these things on the checklist that we have. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are just walking right into it.
Right. But it continues. It continues, Salty, because I guess the character being Echo, I'm guessing she's deaf. I mean, hence the right. Which, hey, great, cool. I'm glad that's your defining feature. But here we go. This is the next thing that's said here.
What did you guys learn about yourselves through playing Henry and Bonnie?
I think what I learned about myself portraying this was that That I have a lot of hearing privilege, being somebody who walks around the world as a hearing person.
I'm sorry.
Is this like the actual Echo actress? Because I don't think it's her. I think she's another character in it.
Hey, all I know is that she's
got hearing privilege. That's all I got.
as a hearing person, by the way, Blabs.
Oh, sorry. My bad,
So,
my bad.
That's right, you hearing person. By the way, take note of the virtue signaling as she signs this. Well, she doesn't sign anything else, but she signs this here.
That I have a lot of hearing privilege.
She actually takes time to virtue signal.
Being somebody who walks around the world as.
Sorry, I love it. Oh my God, just drives me crazy.
Who owns Turok? If you're there's plenty of ways to expand the diversity of media in an organic way that's got an installed fan base. I mean, of millions of people. Those games have sold just millions and millions and millions of copies. You would be able to make a show based around a character that people love and fill out all of your boxes that you guys love so much. And boy, they just refuse to do it.
Well, I love that we have a new term based off this interview. The idea of hearing privilege. Congratulations. Are you a hearing person, Salty?
Huh?
Yeah. What? Oh my God.
I've gone and Googled Echo's sexual orientation.
Oh,
I
good.
could not find anything, so I'm assuming she's straight.
How dare you assume?
I know. I'm an istinophobe. I should be canceled.
It's ridiculous.
I'm surprised that it's not screamed out there. That's how you know she must be one of those filthy cis. If they're not, if you don't know her sexual orientation, then she's a filthy cis.
There's like whole documents full of like MCU characters that are gay, and I'm like, okay, but she's not on it, so I guess she's not gay or anything.
But she checks other boxes.
And that's all that matters.
That's right. Congratulations. Yes. When do you think Disney's actually going to take the next step? And like, they've lost. We talked about Star Wars yesterday, Salty, and they were like, we got this woman director. And it's like, cool. Like, here's the thing that people don't understand. The people that are like are critics, they don't understand that we don't care as long as they do the job good. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or black or white or gay or straight. Just do your job great. And if your job's great, like, doesn't matter. Right. But when you come out and say, here I am, I am a smart, strong woman. I am a deaf, indigenous, Native American from Oklahoma, and I will, solve world problems. Like, that's where the issues line up. Don't make it such a big characteristic of you as a person. So going back to what our boy Adam Krigler says, if that's your defining characteristic, you're really fucking boring.
Yeah.
So.
I think there's a little bit of an insidious approach to what's going on here, because they keep doing this and they're not interested in actually making money. I mean, you guys have detonated multi-billion-dollar franchises in order to do this. And when you take a look at what the other political spectrum is saying whenever it comes to this type of stuff, they take our reactions. Like, I don't care who's the director. I don't care the skin color of the person or the religion. I don't care about any of these characteristics. I'm just looking for some escapism. But the left-hand side, overly broadly speaking, is looking at those reactions, and they get it filtered through Screen Rant, they get it filtered through Deadline Hollywood, they get filtered, and then what gets back to those people is that, we're just upset because we're racist and we're homophobes and transphobes and Muslim phobes and all this type of stuff. And it reinforces what these people are thinking as an overarching boogeyman. So when you see Disney and these other corporations, and they're constantly doing this race baiting and this race swapping in order to gin up this these conversations, they might not be making physical currency like money at the box office, but boy, they take in an entire block of real stupid people with limited scope and reinforcing all of this notion that there's just flaming racists overwhelming the system out there. And so I think there's a benefit to a hijacked Hollywood to do that.
So you asked about who owns Turok, and as pointed out in the chat by Professor Plague Bat, Disney owns Turok.
Gotta be kidding me. I mean, there are just some things out there that are guaranteed money. See, they're not interested in making money. You could take that character, you can scream wokeism and all that. You can even add your woke to this. There's a bona fide character with an installed fan base, and they just refuse. They'll take some ancillary character from 3 comic books of Daredevil and make an entire streaming service around this character just so they can scream, "Well, you're heavily privileged." I'm sitting there going, "This is madness."
Welcome. I'm sure you've really analyzed this. Like, how did we get here?
I think that we're in there seems to be a world war going on that is being fought in a fashion that people aren't really used to or accustomed to. So people are looking for airplanes, they're looking for battleships, they're looking for tanks rolling down their streets. And that's a real stupid, outdated way of fighting somebody. A better way to do it is to hijack their public education system, hijack their music, hijack our civilization. This country, especially our age range, we grew up with the big box movies, the movie theaters, the Terminator 2s, and this is just a media consuming culture over here. And if you are going to attack this country, the best way to do it is to hijack 4 studios in Hollywood and have them really amp up this race baiting, this race war, this schisming of different people based on real stupid characteristics when you get right down to it, and then get us all infighting, and then everything that's happening in the background, no one's paying attention. No one's paying attention to a Nintendo Switch costing $400. Nobody's paying attention to your grocery bill going through the roof. Nobody's paying attention that we can't afford to heat our houses. Everyone's focused on people's skin color or their sexual orientation, and it's all being amplified by this media industrial complex.
Can we win? Can we win against this stupidity, this insanity?
Yeah, I think as long as you continue to, as long as I think, like this channel's a good example. People are understanding it's okay to say no. It's okay to stand up. It's okay to say, listen, I don't want to watch Echo because it looks stupid. Like a lot of places were afraid to say that. And so you're seeing a lot of people standing up, a lot of people recognizing that it's fine to say no to this nonsense. And then you're watching parallel economies being born. I would rather watch your show making fun of Echo than watching Echo. And these idiots are going to dump tens of millions of dollars into that stupid show. And it's going to end up costing them financially. They can only do that for so long. Meanwhile, I'm going to watch you guys. I'm going to watch Geeks and Gamers. I'm going to watch Jeremy from the. We're building our own information sphere, and it's going to outpace these other ones because the other ones are AstroTurf.
The AstroTurf.
Yeah, they're fake. They're built off of nothing.
Love it, and I totally agree. I mean, there's a reason why our show has grown. I think the first time you were on, we were averaging, several hundred viewers, and now we're averaging, we're approaching 2,000 viewers an episode, which is great live, and it comes back to the idea of saying like, and what you said, just pointing and laughing at the stupidity of this, because when somebody goes into a press junket, and pointing and laughing at like the dumbasses who are like, yes, that's great. Like this guy at Screen Rant, the idea as somebody who can say, when you hear a statement like this, reload. Oh, damn. I was going so good until I wasn't. Damn it. Stop. I was going so good until it screwed up. But here we go. When you hear a statement like this,
project might be checking boxes in some way, but it's a great story first and foremost that happens to center around an Indigenous Choctaw community and around a deaf Indigenous protagonist.
Absolutely.
I think so many people.
I go back, like she said a bunch of bullshit, but here's the problem. This guy's the bigger problem. Absolutely.
Yep.
Just clapping like a fucking seal over here. And like, I'm waiting for somebody to go. And it really comes back to access, right? The idea that they want access to have these interviews so they can have several hundred views of this, you know, and be like, it's just a check mark for them. Look at this badge that I have. I get to go to these press junkets and stuff. But I'm waiting for somebody to be like, do you realize how fucking stupid you sound when you say things like that? Like, it's like, that's when things start to change. When somebody at Screen Rant goes into these and be like, I'm sorry, can you just let's just dissect what you just said and how stupid you sound when you say that, instead of going, sorry, got me all riled up.
This kind of reminds me of the Spider-Man game where you like, was it Miles Morales' deaf girlfriend spray painting? It's the exact same thing. It's very niche. It's like, okay.
Oh, sure.
How can people relate to something extremely niche and like, we're so relatable now? It's like, are you? But I actually have a question for Salty. Do you think that Disney's laundering all this money for flops on purpose?
I think that Disney is able to leverage their position so that they can take a financial hit at a box office. I think they could do this in a limited time. They can't do this in the long term because the investors will start asking questions. But I think they get a ton of like grant money. I think that a lot of DEI is a way to funnel tax money to these corporations through the back door as a way to help them sustain the loss of actual revenue, as people don't want to watch. Listen, I'm all for watching an indigenous, lesbian, BIPOC, deaf person kick somebody, but it's got to be a good kick. It's got to look good. I mean, hire somebody who's done this before, but they're not, because they're checking boxes. And when you do that, you're going to nobody. You guys destroyed Star Wars. That's an incredible accomplishment. And when you torch a $4 billion, I mean, you were supposed to have Obi-Wan movies. You were supposed to have Boba Fett movies. These were supposed to bring in hundreds of millions of dollars of pure profit, and they torched all of this. They've got to be receiving money or loans or interest rate cuts from the federal government in the back to kind of offset what's going on over here.
You said something in there that really resonated with me, and you said just make the kick good. You know, just make it a good kick. And that's really all we care about. Just make the kick good. And there's your metaphor for everything in all of media. Just make your kicks good. That's it. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, we all grew up on Jackie Chan movies. I mean, that are going back 20-something years ago. And even before that, I'm like, you guys have taken stuff. We took all of this for granted. I mean, we were doing backyard wrestling with bigger impacts than this 20-something years ago, and recording it on big old VHS camcorders. And you guys can't replicate even that? You can't do that with your studio money? It's too stupid to be stupid.
We got to get more guys willing to take punches. You know, it's crazy. Gary came in and says a more interesting show would be a drama where Echo takes on the sexual assault issues in the indigenous population. But no, she kicks. Yeah. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate that.
Or she could do both in that whole entire thing and take it on her own mantle to like beat the shit out of people who are hurting others.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you want to, I think that's a very, very big thing that should be talked about for sure. Blake came in with the two, says, I enjoy making women feel uncomfortable. You saw that yesterday of the Star Wars lady?
I did. I was sitting there right off the bat. These people are advertising to a very small group of people who are amplified by the algorithm, thinking that they're the main majority. They're not. When you go out there and you get handed the mantle of another three, good luck making 3 of these new Star Wars movies, by the way, around Rey. But when you start off with, well, thank you for, it's about time that a woman takes charge of Star Wars. By the way, I enjoy making men feel uncomfortable. And so they're going, okay, you've shown me that you've learned nothing, that this won't be a good, again, Solo was supposed to be a 3 movies deal.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, you don't put Maul at the end of Solo and then just walk this like, oh yeah, never mind. We're just no. They wanted 3 movies at least out of that, and they didn't get it, and that's what's going to happen with this next one. And it's because you should be sitting there going, there's a whole generation of people who just want to see a continuation of Star Wars characters that we care about, and even like Blab's generation. I mean, you guys got there's a whole, you can go with Qui-Gon figures. You can go with the whole
Man, the early 2000s was lit.
Yeah, you guys the prequel. I mean, it took 20 years to bake apparently, but
we got there.
We could. I mean, Maul is one of they made a whole cartoon series around the dude, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, he came back to life in the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
and then he was also in the Rebels for a couple seasons, and then he dies again.
Yeah, so this woman running around again. They do this so they can take clips of what we say and say, look, these guys just hate women. When I love nothing more than women. It's just you guys go out there and scream. It's about time that a woman takes over. Kathleen Kennedy's been in charge of the Star Wars franchise for 15 plus years. The original Star Wars was edited by George Lucas's first wife. No, ain't nobody got no problem with women over here. Thank God a woman saved the first Star Wars movie.
Princess Leia, right? No. Women's
I think that's one of the more fascinating things about this is you see. This was big a few years ago when Brie Larson was like, I think I'm the first woman superhero. Or she said something along those lines talking about the Miss Marvel thing. And it was like, are you serious? Like, really? Like, you think that highly of yourself? Or you lack that much knowledge in the media that you work with, the medium that you work in, to realize that there haven't been countless other women heroes, and nobody's been like, oh, great. It's just been a part of it. I always go back to like Metroid, right? Salt, you appreciate this, right?
Oh yeah.
You beat Metroid, and at the end it's like Samus is the girl, right? You know who cared about that? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody cared about it until social media came out. I was like, yay, Samus is a woman, powerful woman. And it's like, no, it's just Samus was the character that you played. Nobody gave a damn. It was like, oh, it's a girl, cool, whatever. And that's exactly how it was. Sweet. She's in a swimsuit, Nobody cared.
Yeah, it didn't kill the franchise. Like if you take the mindset of these people, Metroid should have been one and done then. Because we should have all thrown our controller through a wall saying, I ain't gonna play no woman bits. But no, it was nobody cared. It was that game was good. That's all anybody cared about.
Right. Game was good. The kick was good.
The kick was excellent.
Excellent kick. Show came in with a 5, says Salty is Legion. Thank you, Show. Appreciate that. Glad to have Salty on with us. Mercenary says my B-day is coming in 4 days, and I already got an early presence in the Epstein papers. The salt flow is biblically equivalent. Disney is panicking. Good times. Thanks, Mercenary. We're gonna get to Epstein here in just a little bit. Yeah, and absolutely happy birthday. Also, follow up says good news on my car, Salty. Cops have a suspect on the guy. They did almost $5,000 in damages. I'm suing for $100,000 in emotional damage, all for a biblical quote. Good luck with that, Mercenary. Go get that 100K, man. We'll see how that goes. Keep us updated.
Emotional damage.
Did you know that if we put that clip in here, they will find that clip, that guy, and he will flag.
And he'll take it down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. That guy's.
We should just reenact it and be done with it.
Go ahead, Blabs.
Emotional damage. How'd I do?
Horrible. That's all right. Joe says, have you heard Harada, the creator of Tekken, destroyed an idiot on Twitter for saying there are no black characters in Tekken 8? It's hilarious. No, I haven't. Joe, we'll need to look into that possibly for tomorrow's show. Appreciate that. That's outstanding. Blabs, take a note right there. Alan says, Salty is definitely a nerd. Hail the Salty Army. That's great. Shane came in with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Shane. Greatly appreciate that. That puts us at 5 for the day. Our goal is always 20. As Adam adds 5 more memberships. Thank you very much. That puts us at 10 for the day, as our goal is always 20. Thank you so much, Adam. Appreciate that. That's spectacular. Scarpy says, why don't you just have Razor debate Shad on AI? I think having Razor on for the AI panel would be really cool, which we have an AI. What's your thoughts on AI, Salty?
It's going to kill us.
It's just going to murder everybody slowly but surely, just murder us all.
We have better learned how to shoot drones out of the sky, and those robot those dog robot things that they like putting guns on the back of. We better learn real quick how to take those things out, because AI is going to be a gigantic problem. I think it's going to be just like everything else, the internet, social media, all of these gigantic advances. It'll be great and awful, and it'll be our job to bend it towards great.
Did you what's the guy's name? Sam, not the guy who got busted for all the crypto stuff, but there's another guy named Sam something. He runs the chat GPT stuff, or like I saw this thing about him. He walks around with this backpack at all times. And have you heard about this?
No.
So he has this backpack, and apparently the backpack is like the kill switch if the AI gets too enhanced or something. So that's like the rumor that the guy who runs chat GPT, if things get too advanced, that he can. So my thought is, why don't we have like 4 backpacks just in case? You know, like just throwing it out there. We should probably have more than just one backpack on this one guy walking around. So,
oh no, that's scary because that dude knows that. He's sitting there going, okay, well, you know, and boy, AI's smarter than you, brother. So AI's gonna figure out a way around your backpack, and that's I'm hoping that's fan fiction, but it's probably true. We're in so much trouble.
We'll see. It's just oof, man. Blue Shell came in and says, so Craig heard you're heading to Waco. I think you can make a stop at the Urban Race Ranch, Rescue Ranch. Here's to a great 2024 for Side Scrollers. I'm going to be down there. Yeah, I'm going down there for an event. I'm going to be interviewing Honky Tonk Man, the WWF Intercontinental Champion, Salty. So
the Honky Tonk Man?
The Honky Tonk Man. I'm going down
to wrestlers making it past 30.
He's been around. He's letting everybody know. So I'm going to interview Honky. Yeah. So I'm going down there, but will I make it out to the Urban Rescue Ranch? Unfortunately, I'm probably not. I'm going to be there for about 12 hours, just in and out doing some interviews. But thanks so much, Blue Shell. Matt Maddock came in and says, thoughts on the Super Mario Brothers movie? Salty, did you check it out yet?
No.
It's a good one, man. It's good. Really good. Kitty Cat says, Pokemon Gale of Darkness for GameCube is a hidden treasure. Much love to the Salt King and Salty Army. We are Legion. Thanks, Kitty Cat. Blake says, makes more sense for Echo to be on Amazon Video. Yeah, you're right. It is going directly to Disney Plus, unless I'm missing some sort of inside joke there.
It's going with Disney and Hulu's directly.
Scarpy says, Shigeru Miyamoto, she just told a Willy Wonka style competition to be the successor. Why else make a Nintendo Land? It's an obstacle course. I do like that idea. If he was just to Willy Wonka it and give out golden tickets for buying a copy of Pokemon or something, I think that'd be great. True Pop Culture says, I got my phone at 22. Work ethic goes way down. Yes, we've seen that. Scarfy came in and says, no wonder Biden has so many votes. We didn't account for other voters because of our living privilege. Meat by Product says, DGM owns Turok, not Disney. Okay. They lost boatloads of blood on Bloodsport with Vin Diesel. Wait, Bloodspot? I was like, they made a Bloodsport with Vin Diesel? Holy shit. So they will not be making a big budget flick anytime soon. Okay, thanks for the clarity, Meat by Products. Mercenary followed up, says, yeah, Salty, this is planned. It's their message. It is their message, wins or they die, and their condition wins when we are dead. It's a cult of insanity, scares even Joker. Thank you, Mercenary. Lord Spleech came in with the 5, says, a feminist standard operating procedure. They always conveniently forget previous actions and achievements in the name of gaining power. Thanks, Lord Spleech. Hayden came in, gifted 5 memberships. Hayden, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate that. Puts us at 15 for the day. Our goal is always 20. Thank you very much, Hayden. Pleasure to have you in, buddy. Brandon came in as a brand new level 2 member. Let's go, Brandon. Greatly appreciate that. Like your middle finger there, Mickey middle finger. That's great. Mage Leader says, Craig, what's the best Final Fantasy game and why is it 6? Salty, did you play Final Fantasy?
Yeah, I think I've played all of them. I think I've beaten 1. I think I beat 3.
Well, you're gonna have my answer because I played exactly 0 of them. So
oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not a Final Fantasy guy. Never. The idea of, I know they've changed a lot over the years, but the turn-based action of a video game doesn't make sense to me. The idea of like I'm going to walk up to you, take a step back, and like wait to be hit. Like that never made sense to me. Ninja Turtles beating up foot soldiers. That made sense to me, so I was never exposed to that as a kid. So yes, I will say 3 is the best.
Yeah. There you go.
Cesario came in and says, to take out the AI gun dog / robots, use motor oil mixed with sand and other gritty substances in balloons and condoms. Hit lenses and joints. Act accordingly. You see, feel like Cesario's playing this out a little bit.
He's on a list.
This is going, yeah, for sure. Salty Source Strikes, good to see you. Says nerd, big boob nerd. Lord, just straight up right here, baby, ready to go. Awesome. Thank you guys very much for your support today. Thanks, Salty Source Rex. And over on Rumble says General Duality says, let's go, Salty on Side Scrollers. It's going to be a fun stream, Salty. Fun stream. Salty must be DEI enough for YouTube to not ban them.
Identify as lesbian.
There you go. That's right. And today you, oh my God, we talked about this yesterday. Quick side note: did you hear about the Twitch new guidelines where they're like, over the last month or so, there's been this ongoing saga on Twitch to where girls have been trying to more or less get away with showing off their tits, right?
Yeah.
And eventually they started streaming literally with censor bars over their boobs, right? So Twitch came out with this statement yesterday saying something to the effect of like, if you identify as a female, then you have to do this, right? So my thought was like, why can't if gender is fluid, right, then why can't from 1 to 3 p.m. you just identify as a man and show off your man knockers instead of your woman knockers, like
didn't Boogie do that? Didn't he?
Yeah, but it was all this fat, and they thought it was his balls, so they banned him. But he's like, no, it's my fat. Look. But I have the perfect video for explaining yesterday. Have you seen something?
Some huge boobies.
Oh, thank you.
Do play video games on Twitch anymore?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, damn it, I'm old.
I would say most of Twitch is, I would say there's a lot of video games. No, I wouldn't even say that. I would say when you go to it's mostly just chatting. It's mostly become a chat thing, and then the top just chatters are just girls showing off their cleavage and stuff. It is what it is, and it's crazy. Yes, as pointed out in the chat by Static Blue, it says life is parody now. Yes, for sure. Zor says, side scrollers, thanks for hosting my boy Salty. Love that guy. What's up with the new Switch? I've been waiting. I've been waiting to get it for my son for a long time. Current one is too old already. It's coming this year. That's the rumors right there. Pepe Payne says AI is gonna kill us or control us fully. So using AI, Craig, is like loading a gun it's going to kill you. Sad facts. We are willing participants. Sad truth. Well, thank you, Pepe Payne. Way to frighten me, frighten my soul. Appreciate that. My boy Yellow. Hey, we just talked about you, Yellow Flash. You're going to be on tomorrow. It says, hail side strollers, hail the salty army. Let's go. Flash, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. And Major Leader came in and says, Final Fantasy VI was re-released. It was released as Final Fantasy III in the US on the SNES initially. So you're right. Final Fantasy III was indeed the best. There you go. Thank you, Major Leader. I'm glad that I could validate your thoughts, which is great. And speaking of validating, Dracomus came in, Speed Force came in, and the Ice is a Lie came in as brand new Prime members over at twitch.tv/stuttering Craig. If you'd like to use your free Prime sub, head on over there. We'd greatly appreciate it. It gives us free money, and we like that. It's great. True Fun, my boy, used his True Fun. Great to see you. Thanks so much for 23 months. And Captain Philly came in and says, long time no see, mateys. Well, welcome on in, Captain Philly. All right. Lots of support. Thank you guys very much. Let's get into our lead story. We're going to skip over a few things today. I'll tell you what, let's just do quick hits on this. I'm sure you have something to say about this. Did you hear, Salty, that we've lost some legends in the world of rock and roll, as Rage Against the Machine has announced they will not be going on tour or playing live again.
They should tour with Green Day.
I think it goes without saying that I think over the last couple of years, we've seen where a lot of these anti-establishment people really are,
Yep.
when, especially Rage Against the Machine. I mean, they were literally raging for said machine this entire time. And it goes back to, like, you can put lipstick on a pig, but at the end of the day, they're still a pig. And here's your pigs right here. There they are, right there. It's crazy. Thoughts on Rage? Rage calling it quits?
Yeah, you might as well call it quits, because your original fan base isn't going to go see you, and these kids these days don't know who the hell you are. So that was just real dumb move. For your entire brand was, take that, man. But you guys became the man.
My brother is a musician, and he has a pretty prominent following online. He goes by 5 Times August, and his career has been all over the place. He was he's like a singer-songwriter, sang love songs about girls for a long time, got featured on like MTV back in the day, and was actually like one of the first independent artists I think he was the first independent artist featured in Walmart, like long time ago. So he's hustled and grinded, and he's, as his life has changed, his career's changed. He did kids music for a while, but really for the last 3 or 4 years, all he's done since COVID is call people out on their bullshit. And he has this new song pretty much talking about calling out all these people who were against the man, and how it was all just a big fat fucking lie. And it's amazing to see. And I think Rage Against the Machine is such a perfect fucking metaphor for just a propped up, that quote unquote anti-establishment asshats who more or less said something, but were, said something publicly, but behind the scenes were total frauds. And
Yeah.
that's my thought with Rage. Did you have any Rage songs? Because I think everybody at one point was like, yeah, Rage Against the Machine, right?
Yeah, I remember seeing them in concert and buying their shirts, paying $40 for a Rage shirt in 1996 to the commies, to a bunch of people with anarchy signs and commie signs, paying a lot of money for a shirt back then. But yeah, I grew up listening to those guys. The music way back. Again, this is the mid to late 90s. The people who still know who you are, they are going to. They're not going to be fined with paying $500. They were charging last year or the year before that was $400 or $500 a ticket to a Rage Against the Machine show, and then they doubled down by saying, "Oh, by the way, you also have to take experimental injections to come in here." Boy, that is not going to work, especially when we got far superior writers and musicians like your brother making better music now.
It's crazy to see, and it's one of those things where you see a headline like this and you say, "Oh, Rage Against the Machine announced they're not going to be playing again, and they're going to be going on tour." Then there's the old meme. It's like, and nothing of value was lost.
Yeah,
And it's a shame, man. It's a shame. Like they say, never meet your heroes. And not to say that Rage Against the Machine was ever like a hero, but they.
Did you see Vanilla Ice was playing at Mar-a-Lago? They were sitting there going, "What is happening? What is happening?"
You know what I loved about that was the giant Ninja Turtle dancing next to him.
Yeah,
That was.
I didn't see there was a turtle there.
Oh, you didn't see the turtle dancing?
No, I just saw Vanilla Ice, and I was like, "Okay, this timeline. All right, so it's a turtle." No,
Hold
I'm
on.
gonna pull Thanos. I don't even know who this band is.
What?
Rage Against the Machine? I actually don't think I know who they are.
Out.
And by the way, I was born in '96, just to make you feel happy.
Oh my God. So Rage Against the Machine was the epitome of like the anti-establishment. Oh, by the way, here is Vanilla Ice with the Ninja Turtle on stage. Straight up got Michelangelo on stage doing a part of Vanilla Ice. And I think at one point they pan over, and I think there's I saw one of them where there's a video of this, and then they pan over, and there's I think there's Trump just kind of like,
Yeah, it's like
oh my God, it's amazing. So, well, at least Vanilla Ice is still going hard. Blaz, maybe we'll do an introduction to. No, we'll never do an introduction to Rage Against the Machine. You just.
I feel like I'm not missing out. So
They went pretty hard in the '90s.
Yeah.
We all bought into the bullshit. You know, we all bought into it, but we were lied to, just like everything else. All right.
that's cheerful.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of being lied to, let's talk about the Jeffrey Epstein list. Let's go. I've just kind of watched this from afar, but and Salty, I'm sure that you are you know more about this than I do, but I think it's important that we do talk about it. This is a gaming and entertainment podcast. This list is littered with entertainers from top to bottom, apparently. And I don't know, give us a quick background and overview on this, because I'm sure you followed this much deeper than I have, Salty.
Yeah, Epstein ran a honeypot island, and they were honeypotting the worst of the worst and incriminating influential figures from multiple countries in order to make sure that they stay in line and they're compromised and they're ordered around. And the dude had been arrested for child trafficking. I want to say the early 2000s. And him and his consort over there continued to not only traffic children and hang out with influential people, but then he got caught again. And then he got killed inside his jail cell. And the mainstream media apparatus tried to pretend that he didn't get killed in his jail cell because they need to protect this notion that Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell are just a figment of the conservative right's imagination, and pedophile islands and honeypots don't exist, and just go along with your day. Nobody of any power is compromised. It's all rainbows and sparkles and sprinkles and unicorn farts out there. Just keep going. Nothing to see here. And we refuse to let these people live in that fantasy land.
So there was a flight log, because that's the idea of the list, right? The list was the flight log of all the people that were chartered from his plane to this island where really bad things happened. Is that right?
Well, there's a lot of things getting mixed in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So there are flight manifestos, because every flight is registered, and so the people going on these flights to the island, there's got to be some sort of list of that. But then this guy was a billionaire hanging out with other billionaires, and they were all in planes together. So there are flight lists being mixed around all over the place, and it's being used in a way to cover up the people who are politically preferential to the establishment. And so they'll say, well, look, Donald Trump was on the flight list, but the flight list that Donald Trump was on was because he flew from Mar-a-Lago to New Jersey on the dude's plane, not that he flew from New Jersey or Florida to this island. And they're conflating these two so they can muddy the waters. But there is a list of people who flew to the island. That's the incriminating one. And there's going to be another list of people who they just did transactions with.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there's a list of people who flew, and then there's a separate list that has actual receipts.
Yeah, you're gonna find a list of people that money was transferred for. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to
services.
say. Services. Right. Yeah, there's going to be that. Well, like Ghislaine Maxwell's got a black book of people that she was, trafficking children too. So that's another list. And what was unsealed by this court was a deposition.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got a woman being deposed, and she's talking about the different people that she saw on the island, different people that Maxwell and Epstein were talking about. And so there's a whole deposition of her being questioned and her giving answers, and people are pulling names out of that right now. So that's making another list, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Okay. So it sounds like there's multiple. Okay. So there's the deposition, which has just been released, and that's like 900 pages or something, you said?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And then there is a separate list, which is the flight list. Then there's another list, which is people mentioned in the deposition. Then there's going to be another list, which is the client list. Is that accurate? Okay.
Yeah, at least. I mean, there's going to be more stuff too, but those are the big ones.
Right. I think that's kind of the fascinating thing about this. And like to be clear, right? Let's just say Trump, right? You said, well, Trump wasn't on the list to the island, right? But he used it for like, just because you're on to be very fair, just because you're on a flight list does not mean that you did anything bad, right? I think that's why the client list is the killer here. I mean, that I looking at a little bit of a from a naive perspective, but maybe I'm just an idiot because I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. But it definitely is a strong indicator that something bad happened when you go to a place. Like, you know, if you go to a place where they slaughter pigs, you're probably going to be there to slaughter pigs. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things. But so do we know? I've just seen a few names and very interesting names that have been on this, that have been in the court filings so far. And this is from BBC, which Blabs, by the way, what does BBC mean, Blabs?
The British Broadcasting Corporation.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Thanks.
I didn't know which definition you want, but I'd be nice and salty's here. I'll be very elegant today.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. This is from BBC. They said Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton are named in the court files, which anytime a former president has been listed in this place, you wonder like when and how often, and did he do it while he was a president of the United States? So there's all sorts of questions here. And then the other one that was crazy to see was we were talking about it before the show. What's his name, Blabs? Stephen Hawking?
Yeah, Stephen motherfucking Hawking, which is just ew. Because he can't do anything, right? So you have to have these younger women touching him. And what is he gonna do? Hit like control buttons? Go, oh my, yes, good. Like what?
with his robot voice.
Yeah.
Yes. Please, more, daddy. Yes. Gross. So my first thought was like, when I heard Prince Andrew, my thought was the younger guys, because I don't keep up with the whole royalty thing, but it's not that guy. It's this guy apparently. I don't know who this guy is. Who's this guy? Why should I know who he is?
Are you serious? That's Prince Andrew.
Yeah, who is it? He's the prince of what?
That's Queen Elizabeth's child.
Fuck if I know. Like, I don't know these things.
How do you not know this stuff?
I know the king guy, the king
guy.
With the
Oh,
ears,
hell,
and
the
I know
king
his
guy.
sons. I know his sons. So this guy was Diddle and Little.
Yeah, that is King Charles's brother.
Okay.
Queen Elizabeth II's child. Actually, her favorite child. Funny enough. Weird, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
What other names have we heard that are, I guess, rumored to be on this? Do you know any names, Salty, that have been supposedly on this list? I've heard like Tom Hanks. Like, and if Tom Hanks is on this, it's like, holy shit.
I saw Cameron Diaz. Like, what?
I think there's like an information war going on. People are throwing out names that aren't on there,
right?
As a way to get people to say, well, that list isn't real. Alan Dershowitz was on the list. He came out and said, well, yeah, I'm on the list because I was the dude's lawyer. So yeah, I did meet with the guy. I did go on the airplane with him. I saw Michael Jackson last night, but I haven't seen anything today, so I don't know. Again, people were pointing out Jimmy Kimmel. That part of the transcript looks fake. And so it's going to take a few days for the dust to settle and for the actual real names out of the deposition to be solidified.
I think that's the other thing is like, how do we know if any of this is true? You know, if these are scans and information is modified. So as you mentioned the Jimmy Kimmel scan and you say, oh, it looks fake, right? To the casual person just going by, you say, oh, Jimmy Kimmel, Cameron Diaz, Stephen Hawking. You know, like at this point, by the way, Michael Jordan was also there. Did you hear about that? Michael Jordan was on Pedo Island. You know, it's like, oh, did you hear LeBron James was too, by the way? Oh, and I also want to point out that the Queen of Switzerland was there too. You know, you just start throwing out these names and all of a sudden it becomes, you know, public discourse and you go, oh, yeah. You know, so like part of me wants to be really responsible and be like, we're not going to say the names until we know. But the other part of me is like, who's on the fucking list, you know? So I guess we'll see, man. I guess we'll see. I don't know. The other aspect of this, which is really, really crazy, is this was all just a giant, like, I hate using the term conspiracy theory because I heard a guy say the phrase non-mainstream theory. That's a better way to describe it. This was a non-mainstream theory for a decade, 15 years, whatever. And you hear about these things. Well, there's this island that this billionaire flies people into, and you're like, fuck that. This isn't some Bond movie. And now, like, I was watching YouTube TV last night, and on there, this is major news. NBC's talking about, like, all your traditional outlets that never would have even acknowledged this are having to talk about this because this is major news, and that's a shift in things as well.
Yeah, it's got big ramifications coming out of it, and I think that you were never supposed to hear about this dude. Certainly, we weren't supposed to hear about his associates. He was arrested for this years ago, and people were the dude was so insulated that after being charged, arrested, and detained as a child trafficker, people like Bill Gates would still hang out with him openly. So they thought that they had a lockdown on any of this information getting out, and that's not that long ago. I mean, there's a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell after Epstein had been arrested. She's at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. She's in the back. You can see she actually sticks her head out. You can see she's clearly there. This is after her longtime partner had been arrested for trafficking children. Then she gets caught and arrested for trafficking children. So the reason why Rolling Stone and the reason why ABC News as a studio protected this dude is because the dude has compromised high-level people, and it's not a conspiracy theory. This is just how criminal organizations work. Criminal organizations that are transacting in the billions and billions and billions of dollars and peddling influence at that level are not just going to let anybody inside of their meetings. They're not going to let anybody inside their limited hangouts. You have to be compromised. You have to have receipts that they can pull on you. That's just your gangs at street level operate that way. They make new people kill people in order to get into the gangs. The mafia did the same thing. These are high level criminals operating at a high level, playing high stakes games. They are compromised at the highest order, and they want people to think that that's a conspiracy theory, and they're trying to keep the wraps on it, but it's not working. There's an awakening that's clearly happening.
So from an entertainment perspective, I've seen this talked about for obviously several years. Like I said, this does seem very like super Bond villainish, like mega Bond villainish. Like at what point does this guy? Well, and these are questions that I don't know. Like, how did Epstein make his money? Is it all through blackmail and like that's the whole idea? Do we know that?
Well, he had a front where he was like a finance manager or a broker, and that's supposed to be where he legitimately got his money. But I'd be shocked if that was his sole source of income. I think there's a lot of different rabbit holes you could go down with this guy. Some people will say that he's Mossad. Some people will say that he's FBI or CIA. At the end of the day, the dude died in such a ridiculous fashion, and you watched the entire mainstream media apparatus run out there and try to gaslight everybody. Nobody's buying it. And so at the end of the day, you've got clearly a gigantic amount of pressure to protect a narrative that this is just he's just a dude who killed himself in a jail cell, who hung out with a bunch of other billionaires and had an island. Nothing to see, just move on. But it's not working. We turned it into a meme, and we have outpaced legacy media, and we have circumvented big tech oligarchs. And so you're watching this situation unfold, and it's just getting worse. They never wanted to talk about this dude. Like, they never wanted to talk about him, and now we're getting depositions from people that he trafficked.
which is the most fascinating thing about it. When you say they, who do you mean by they? They never. Just like, who's they?
Well, they are the people who are there. There seems to be a group of people who transcend national borders, and they want to have a people go, oh, the NWO, the world government. There's just always been a group of people who want to take the population and oppress them, just strangle them. And I don't think that's if human history is littered with these attempts, it would be foolish and naive to think that it's not happening now. And so you've got a bunch of people who are working in the same direction with the same means to get the same outcome. And that's the only message that is allowed through all of these legacy operations that they still control. So print media, sports ball players, Hollywood weirdos, the movie studios. If you deviate from any of these planks of globalism, then you are kicked out and excommunicated, and they take all of your money and they try to unperson you. And so I don't think that's an accident. I think that's on purpose. And I think there's a reason why the same messaging and the same script is in every single Western civilization at the same time.
Do we have any examples of people who have been kicked out of the club?
I think what's happened is you've seen a almost like a molting where, you know, this new generation, they're not going to say anything. There's nobody in Hollywood. There's nobody at any of these studios who's going out there and saying, listen, I've got a slight problem with telling children it's okay to cut their dicks off. They won't even go, like, they won't even say that. And I don't think that's a coincidence. Older people who aren't going to be making movies anymore will say stuff like that. You've got John Voight.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Kevin Sorbo. You've got Dean Cain. You got a bunch of people who are, you're just never going to see them ever again. They're not going to be in any of those movies anymore.
Right. So they reside to the idea that, like, they've made it, they're good, they have their money or whatever. They're just never going to work in Hollywood again, and that's fine. It is what it is.
Or they're just going to stand by their principles.
Right.
These might be sane individuals who are like, listen, I'm not going to go along with this. You know, I don't want to go. Yeah, like Ricky Gervais is never going to host anything ever again. He's never going to be at the Golden Globes. He's certainly not going to be at the Emmy. They'll go back and get Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel's going to do it again. Jimmy Kimmel has lost 75% of the audience that he since taking over that show. So he's losing audience, but you're going to keep bringing him back. Ricky Gervais can sell tickets to, he can sell out anything, but he won't come back. Gina Carano, Alan over there, it's a great point. Gina Carano, another example. She just said, hey, look, there's some similarities to World War II. All stuff they're now saying, by the way, but they say it in the direction of conservatives. So it's fine to make those connections between the past. And so it's very telling that it's all this, it's every plank across every sector, across multiple things. Like, you have to take this like, you can't question masks, you can't question experimental injections, you can't question Epstein, you can't question cutting your balls off, you can't question open board. Like, you're not allowed to question any of those, or you won't make money ever again in Hollywood. And all of these people in Hollywood are whores, and so they're not going to deviate from that. I mean, Chris Pratt got attacked for wearing an American flag on his shirt, or Gadsden
Right.
flag.
Right. Is there a theory or something that is not, you know, obviously the big thing is, you know, you mentioned cutting the dick off and the open borders and stuff, but is there something that is being talked about that maybe you know, I said 10 years ago, if you would have said 15 years ago, if you said there's an island where these things are happening, people go like, that's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What's the thing that people are talking about now that they're saying this is going to happen in 10 years? Or this is going to, you know, have you heard any of that stuff that I should know about now?
Oh, so what we would say is crazy now, but it's definitely going to happen in 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they're telling us we're going to eat bug burgers. they're telling us that we're not going to own anything. They're telling us that we're going to own nothing, eat bugs, We're all going to live in these coffin apartments with Ready Player One goggle thingies and stuff like that. Listen, if we don't stand up to these people, then yeah, we will. We will definitely end up with that. You won't be able to own a car. You won't be able to. You'll have to. I think probably 15-minute cities is probably what the goal is, and it sounds like a wild conspiracy theory right now, where you have to you have to check your car. You take your phone and you check your current carbon levels and your social media score, and that'll tell you whether or not you're allowed to go out today. And if these people get what they want, then yeah, we will definitely end up in 15-minute cities as long as we continue to resist. There's a good chance that we won't.
Just to tie this together, I don't know if you saw this today. Warner Brothers has partnered with AI company ReadyVerse to make Ready Player One a real thing. The ReadyVerse is called the definitive destination for fans to explore their favorite stories and IPs in the metaverse. So just to kind of tie this all together to what you were just saying about, living in that space. So making it all Ready Player One.
Yep.
Wow. It's amazing how that all comes together. That is nuts. I love having you on. I'm also terrified to have you on sometimes. Sometimes I get slapped in the face with reality, which is great. Let me go and read off some of these super chats real fast. Alan says, I remember the first time I tasted some Bobs. They were salty. Thanks, Alan. Congratulations. Lord of the Ree says 5 times August is great, and he's a huge inspiration to me as a musician. Ain't No Rock and Roll's an absolute banger. I found him through Viva Fry. Brad's been on there many times. Metastep says, in case you didn't know, Rage has always been communist, as they just soak in all that money, right?
Yeah, I noticed that they didn't share. I noticed that the roadies didn't get paid what Tom Morello was getting paid.
It's amazing how that works out, right?
I'm confused.
Nate says, scratching strings like a DJ makes Tom Morello a guitar hero. Decorating that guitar with a hammer and sickle makes him a jackass. There you go. Thanks, Nate. Appreciate that. Mark's Man of 117B says, Hawking just loved to watch little people do math.
Ew.
Henry came in with 10 gifted memberships. Henry, thank you very much. That puts us at 26 for the day, surpassing our goal of 20. Thank you very much, Henry. Greatly appreciate your support with the 10 gifted memberships. I saw many people saying thank you when those were gifted out. Hayden says, Stephen Hawking and some others are probably just psyop. It's probably just a psyop, fake info dump thrown on top of it just to obscure the real info that's coming out. Yep. Hayden, appreciate that. And that's it. This is straight information warfare, which is the most fascinating thing about this whole thing is you don't know what's real and you don't know what's not. Rappin' Alaskan says, keep up the good work, gents. Hey, thanks so much. Greatly appreciate your support. And Nerd says that Jimmy Kimmel, super squirrely though. Yeah, I think everyone can agree with that. Just, it's nuts. Hey, you says, why is David Copperfield on the list? Is he?
It looks like he did some magic tricks at the for Epstein. This is so bizarre. The entertainment that they're into.
David Copperfield. I bet he'd like for that list to disappear right about now, huh?
Yeah. Didn't he ask other women saying, do you know that other women are looking for other women? Something like that. That's also been circulating the internet.
Wait, what? Say it again. I'm sorry. What happened?
David Copperfield. He's going to the other women on the islands and be like, do you know that other women are finding other women? Like that's what I'm seeing on the internet. Now I don't know if that's real or not, but I guess like he knows about it then too.
I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea.
Like finding other women for the circle, like the trafficking.
Sure. Mercenary says, I hear Spielberg Jackson. I heard was an informant. Well, Mercenary, thanks for your deep sources. Appreciate that, Mercenary. Nurse says, Zack Snyder is a guy that wants in, but's out. Thank you. Appreciate that. And Theodore Roosevelt wants to know, says, thanks, Henry Davis. Salty, when painting of me?
I have one, actually, of Roosevelt with a flamethrower, I think, somewhere. I got to put him in the background for you.
Nice. Rapid Alaskan says, as long as we have 2A, they can't go full retard. Thank you, Rapid Alaskan. That's right. Also, Pelzer came in as with the Prime sub over on Twitch. Greatly appreciate that. And Winston came in with the $5 direct donation. Says the UK also has woke movie and TV studios in addition to their obsession with celebrity culture like the US. But in terms of woke movie / TV studios, do foreign studios and other first world nations, France, Germany, Japan, etc., have similar problems? Certainly not as pronounced as what you see over here in the United States. And that's the other side of this whole thing, is that it's a trickle-down effect with the United States. Whatever happens here trickles across the rest of the globe, and that's just the reality of the situation. So, all right, Salty, I know you got a roll here in a little. You've spent a great amount of time with us today, and we appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you guys having me. I love being here.
For sure, man. Love talking games and stuff. Do us a favor, guys. If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button. We'd love to see you guys tomorrow. We're back with Yellow Flash and Melanie Mack. We're here Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time. We'd love for you guys to join us. A bunch of common sense motherfuckers over here on Side Scrollers, which is great. Who like video games and entertainment and all things that imply along there. Blake came in too. Says, to be more specific, Hawking watches kids multiply. Gross, Blake.
Ew.
Winterfell says Kimmel went after QB Aaron Rodgers for talking about him being on the list. Yeah, that was kind of a nice little thing that happened there. So, but yeah, once again, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button on your way out. And Salty, can you tell everybody when you stream and everything that's going on with everything over on Rumble?
Sure. We stream on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, 4:30 California time, if you will. And you can just find us over at saltmustflow.com.
You have like 40,000 people watching you at one time. That's spectacular, right?
It's madness. Yeah, it's madness. It's a great honor to be able to hang out with a bunch of rowdy berserkers and shoot the shit about this crazy clown world and help get this information out there to people. Wake them up, shake them out of their slumber a little bit.
Love it. Well, and you've done it for a lot of people, man. It's great stuff. It's awesome. I look forward to the day where we can sit down and play some Donkey Kong Country. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. So, all right, guys. Appreciate you guys popping in. Hit the subscribe button over here. Follow us over on Rumble if you're watching us over on Rumble at rumble.com/sidescrollers. We're live over there as well. We do appreciate and love the free speech aspect. We'll see you guys tomorrow when we're back at it once again, 11 a.m. Central Time, for tomorrow's episode of Side Scrollers with Melanie Mack and Yellow Flash. We'll see you guys then. Remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. See you guys later. Bye-bye.